From Los Angeles, TraderInsight.com presents Dr. Adrian Manz in the war room and at the helm with today's look at stocks and sectors on the radar.
For TraderInsight.com, I'm Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Tuesday, February 10th, 2009. On Monday, Dow Jones Industrials down 972 to close at 8270.87. We had 1,658 stocks advance, 1,388 decline, and NYSE total volume of about 1.25 billion shares. Well, it looks like we are establishing a new range, a new lower range on the Dow. Down here in this new Dow box, looks like the previous levels that were containing price action have indeed become the support and resistance line now to the upside, and we are, at least for the time being, stuck in this lower range of trading. We're going to see how the market reacts to the presidential press conference. Let's see if come the morning, if some of the activity that we're seeing in the futures markets holds on and we see a move higher, or if we see the markets selling the news a bit and indeed moving lower over the course of the Tuesday session. But that remains to be seen. The rest of the indices also very, very flat on Monday. The S&P 500 up $1.29 to close at 869.89. NASDAQ 100 up 416 to close at 1281.65. And the NASDAQ comp down 15 cents at 1591.56. The VIX is flat as a pancake, so we're at 43.64 on this thing. It had a higher volatility at the open than it did at the close. That's the kind of thing that's more typical than what we saw on Friday, where they were, of course, dead even. The VIX closed pretty much exactly where it happened. Not something that you want to see for reasons that we will talk about in another video. Now, let's talk quickly about IBM. This was the only stock on the Stocks and Sectors on the Radar from Sunday for Monday's trading that actually made any sense intraday. Markets didn't really move too much, and I'd like to take a look at the intraday chart on this one and discuss where the tradable entries, where the tradable opportunities were. As we see here, it did not go and break that high that we were looking for in yesterday's trading, right? So yesterday we had spoken about trying to get up above the high of the range and giving us an entry then and looking for a profit extension on that fast fall move. Now, what was very tradable, though, and was a great opportunity today, was this move down to these floor trader pivots here, to the central pivot line. We had this nice collapse and a breakdown below the central pivot or the value zone, right? So floor traders are using that central pivot area as a zone of value. Breaks to the downside that are sustained are typically traded to the next layer, which is down much lower. Breaks up through that pivot line are generally traded up to the next pivot. And that's exactly what we saw happen in today's trading. Let me see if I can narrow this down a little bit. We see here that we did not get a violation that was significant that would have popped us down below and headed us in the other direction. And what we did wind up with was on this reversal up through the central pivot, we got a great tradable move worth $1.50 a share if all you did was hang on until the first leg of the up move was complete. Now, I had a question from Chad in Minneapolis, wanted to know what I'm talking about when I refer to these moves in points. A point is the equivalent of $1 a share. So if we have a 1 point move in a stock, that means that we've had a $1 per share move. So for example, if we were trading 1,000 shares of IBM today, a move from $95 to this $96.50 area would be a 1.5 point move. 1.5 times that 1,000 shares, then 1.5 points on 1,000 shares is $1,500. That's the way that traders, particularly short-term traders, like to view the markets and like to view their return on their trading account rather than a longer-term investor who's going to look at things in terms of percentages on an overall account. Now let's get back and let's have a look at what I've got on the radar for Tuesday's trading. Got a couple energies, got a bank, and we are going to take a look at a material and a consumer. So we've got sort of a broad range of things, all on the short side. We've got an oil and gas. We've got Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. This is ticker symbol APC. This is a low-level infield fly setup. I'm going to look for trade below 40.85 to indicate a potential entry on weakness in the oil and gas stocks. Then in the drillers, I've got Diamond Offshore Drilling. Again, this is an infield fly setup, kind of low-level setup again. 67.50 on this one is going to be my cue to look for a short side entry opportunity. Again, I've got to find 5-minute or 25 tick support and resistance, and I'm going to want to see the oil and gas, energies, drillers all starting to move lower in tandem before I establish a position in DO, Diamond Offshore Drilling. Then in the banks, we've got the cheapie du jour here. This is Marshall and Isley Corp. This is a commercial bank. This is in the financial sector. If we see the financials start to sell off, this one has a trigger price around $5.20 a share. If I get that trigger, I'm going to be looking for a move down into the support and resistance area, just a move down to about $4.25, maybe $4.30, $4.50 a share. So nice little move if we can get it. Also, just going to keep an eye on the financials once I'm in this one if I take it, because any kind of a turnaround could whip this thing higher again. So this one was a switch hitter setup in MI, Marshall, and Isley. I have Sunoco products here. This is containers and packaging. This is the materials sector. This one's a 3-2 pitch setup. Any trade below 21, let's say 21.04, 21 even, maybe even down 20.99 is going to have me looking at the short side on SON Sunoco products. And finally, I've got Tupperware Brands once again back on the radar. A move below 18.47, 18.45, somewhere in there. This one's a switch hitter and a 3-2 pitch setup. It's in TUP, Tupperware. I'm going to be looking for an entry on the short side with a tight stop at 5-minute or 25 ticks resistance intraday. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, adrian@traderinsight.com. Use protective stops on every trade and have a great trading day on Tuesday.